Hello and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be talking about fabrics. Now, when I first started on the journey of learning about the art and craft of cinematography, I didn't expect fabrics to become such a central part of that. I was more thinking about lights, lenses and compositions, all of which are really important. But fabrics seem to be quite an unsung hero. For example, we have these different fabrics like the sheers that I have on the curtains here, which are aesthetically pleasing but also help to bring the light down, and also the different textures and things that fabrics give. But also behind the camera with the lighting, the different fabrics we use to diffuse the light, to bounce the light and otherwise manipulate the quality of the light. Now, there's lots of information online and I'm sure you've seen lots of videos about these different techniques, so I'm not going to go into how to do that and how to use these. And the reason I'm making this video is a little while back I was interested in ordering myself some bleached and unbleached muslin bounces. So these are also referred to as calico, I think, in the United States. But when I looked at the different options from companies like Matthews, these are very expensive. Now, we're talking around £400 in the UK for a 12 by 12 size one. Now, but obviously there's different features with these. It's not just the fabric alone. They're a lot more durable probably than regular material if you buy it, and also they offer other features like maybe weather resistance, flame retardants and these kind of things. So if you're going to be working on a bigger shoot and you've got the budget, you should absolutely get these or rent them. However, for sort of day-to-day projects or smaller projects or things where you're just shooting for yourself, or for example like a YouTube video, having to spend sort of £400 or £500 is a bit overkill, especially if you're just starting out. And so I decided to make my own versions, just something cheap and cheerful that I could use for jobs that I was just doing for myself. Sometimes I've used these on smaller client jobs as well, and they do the trick just fine. But as I said, if you're going to be working on a bigger set with much higher budgets, you should definitely explore the professional options. But I'll just quickly talk you through what I did and how I made them. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. There's loads of different ways you could approach making these, but this is just the way I took. So to give you an example of what I'm talking about, in case you aren't aware, here's a unbleached muslin or calico. Now, the reason it's unbleached, as the name implies, is it's not been turned white, it's not been bleached white, so it still has a natural colour, which to me looks a bit like old paper. Now, this is really lovely as it can help create a bit of a warm glow to the light. I'll just see if I can cover my light to show you. If you can see just here, it creates this sort of nice, almost tungsten type feel to the light and warmth. So this can be really good if you're maybe trying to light indoors and imitate the light from lamps, or you're just trying to create more of a warm, maybe cozy feeling. And it also has a quite nice soft quality to it. It's quite thick material and it just looks really lovely. The other one that I want to talk about is the bleached one. So this one, again, as the name implies, it's been bleached white. So it's a similar quality of light and it's the same type of material from cotton. However, instead of having that warm glow, it's more of a clean sort of look without too much colour contamination, if you want to call it that. However, contamination sounds a bit harsh. But this one, if I hold it up just to show you, it's a nice soft quality, but without adding in any sort of extra colours, or not too many anyway. So it's just a bit of a cleaner bounce, essentially, or cleaner material to shoot through. The other one that I made, which I haven't got to hand here, was a negative fill or a blackout sheet. So I just got some black fabric as well against some cotton, and that one's completely black. It's been dyed black, and I use that one for negative fill, so to add in more shadow, or sometimes just to block out light coming through windows or from unwanted places, or to bring down some of the ambient light where I don't want it. So these three seem like the best sort of three to start me off, and I think they're a good choice to give you a range of different options with your lighting. Now, the way I did this was I just ordered the fabrics I needed from Amazon. You can get different lengths and different sizes, so whichever one you want and whatever suits your needs. But I got some longer material. I think it was around 3 meters by 1 meter. That's one of the downsides of this method, is a lot of the materials aren't going to be in the 12 by 12 length exactly, but that's a compromise I was willing to make to save on the money, and I didn't necessarily need these sort of large 12 by 12 or 6 by 6 ones at this point. Now, the way it works with the professional ones is they have reinforced seams all along the edges, and there's usually things like Velcro or other ways of attaching them, like eyelets, to be able to attach them to a range of different frames and these kind of things. So I figured with the material, I just hemmed the edges. Now, just quick disclaimer, I didn't do this myself because I'm absolutely awful at sewing or anything involving needlework, but I just found a local craftsperson who did sewing, and I just paid them to hem the edges for me. Obviously, if you are good with a sewing machine, or you have access to one, or one of your friends or family could do it for you, that's even better. But I didn't have anyone like that nearby, so I just found someone local and paid them to do it, and it was a really quick way to get it done, and get it done really nicely. Now, the next thing, I figured I need a way to firstly attach the sheets of material together. So if I was going to have multiple different fabrics, so I got multiple sheets of this, and I thought that way I can have it small, so I can have a smaller sheet if I just need that of the fabric, or if I want to increase the size, I can just double them up and attach them to each other. And the way I got around that, and this is something you'll see in the professional ones as well, but probably done in a lot higher quality and a lot more secure than I have, is they have eyelets on the corners just like this. So this allows you to do things like, I think I've got one here, is attach things like bongo ties. If you're not sure what these are just sort of flexible ties. There's different versions of these. They're dead useful. I definitely recommend that as something every cinematographer should own, is a set of bongo ties. And you can use these to attach them together. You can use them to sort of stretch. They've got elastic on them, and you can mount them to different surfaces, different stands, and these kind of things. Now, the way I added the eyelets to the fabric was using one of these cheap and cheerful kits from Amazon. You can get different versions of these, or more professional ones or higher quality ones. There's some that are sort of application guns where you just squeeze them and it sort of does it all for you. They're probably a lot easier, but they're a bit more pricey as well. But if you've got the budget, it might be worth considering getting them. But in these kits, you get a whole selection of the rivets, the fronts and the backs. And you just use, firstly you cut the hole in the fabric, you mark where you want to do it, then you just, with a hammer, you can use just to cut the hole with this device. And then afterwards, you use this, you have your rivet in place through the fabric, and with a hammer, you just clap that in, and it all together just seals up around the fabric, and it also adds your eyelet in for you. So it's nice and easy. You need a surface to do it on though, so you need some kind of board. I had a small anvil which I used to do mine on, so you need a nice hard surface to do it. But also, yeah, if you get one of these kits where it has the gun that will do it for you, that might be an easier way to go if you don't have a surface and a hammer you can use. I might get some shots just to show you quickly how I did it, because that might be easier than me trying to explain it now. So that's all there was to it, really. It's a dead easy one. There's much more elegant, expensive, or extravagant ways you could do it, and I'm sure there's lots of ways I could improve it. But I've managed to use these fabrics already quite a lot for practicing at home, when I was practicing for YouTube lighting setups, and also for some client shoots as well, where we haven't had a big sort of whole team or dedicated gaffer and lighting crew, and we wouldn't be looking at renting or spending that much money renting out different frames of different fabrics anyway. And in those instances, it's worked perfectly. Like I said, if you have got a big issue and you've got the budget, then definitely the professional ones are the way to go, and there's a reason they're that expensive. But for practicing yourself and for smaller shoots, maybe you're a one-man, one-woman band and you just want something nice and easy that you can set up easily and it doesn't cost too much, then these work perfectly, and the quality of light you get from them is pretty much hard to tell the difference from the professional ones. And anyway, I hope this has helped give you a quick and easy way to do that and get you started in practicing and learning too. I've really enjoyed using them, and I just thought it was something nice to share. I'd love to hear from you below if you've had any of your own DIY solution for fabrics and bounces, or anything similar to what I've done, or anything better as well. Feel free to comment below. It's great to share, and it'll be good for other people as well to see your own solutions. Thank you so much again for checking out this video, and I'll be back soon.